Is Planet Coaster worth it? In this video, we're gonna go through all the details you need to know about this game so that you can decide for yourself whether or not this game is worth it for you. I've played this game a decent amount and I've done extensive research as well. So in this short video, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know. So of course, Planet Coaster is a tycoon game. I don't know about you, but some of my earliest memories of playing games is from Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was growing up. I played that game a whole lot, and it was a very difficult and punishing game, but it was also very satisfying. Planet Coaster is pretty similar, at least in some aspect. It's a roller coaster creator. It is your job to make a theme park and manage it. By this, of course, I mean you are making roller coasters, either making them by yourself by hand, or you can find pre-built designs. The game will have pre-built designs, and you can also find more in the Steam workshop that I'm going to talk about later. You also have the aspect of managing your park. You gotta have people that take care of the grounds and the roller coasters. And you of course get visitors that come in and they want to see all the nice things you have. They want to go on the roller coasters. They want to be able to buy food and drinks. And it's your job basically to entertain them. And you do that by providing good roller coasters they enjoy. That means the roller coasters cannot be too nauseating or too scary for them, or they won't use them. You of course also have to feed them. Now where this game really shines is a customization. The game has pretty easy to learn controls in terms of how to move around and how to build stuff. And the complexity you can create stuff is amazing. You can make the most advanced buildings ever with so many minor details that is just ridiculous. Now I'm not a creative person at all, so I just use the in-game items and buildings. But if you're that kind of person who likes to sit there and make small details and create your own small designs, you will have so many hours of playtime in this game, especially when it comes to scenery. You have complete control over everything. You can create mountains, waterfalls, make an entire underground roller coaster if you wanted to, and of course just make everything real pretty with nice and beautiful flowers. So I'd say this is where the game has the most features. And if you are the kind of person who really enjoys this, you are going to have a field trip on this game. Because there are some other aspects that are less than ideal that we'll get into in a second here. But if you really enjoy the building aspects and the creativity of this game, you're going to enjoy this game a lot. So as I mentioned before, you have the Steam workshop. In here, you can find pre-built everything. You can find an entire pre-built theme park with everything in it. So if you just want to explore and go on the roller coasters, you can do that. And the community in this game is amazing, especially for a game that's pretty old now. People are still making tons and tons of new constructions that you can use, and you can just add them to your own game super easy. In the workshop, you can also find buildings and blueprints. So if you're like me and you don't know how to design anything, you can just copy it from there. And you can find some really creative things in there, which leads me to the visuals of the game. This game looks fantastic, both out from afar and when you zoom in. The attention to detail is amazing, but it still has that kind of cartoony, kind of fun environment and theme to it. But the graphics is still amazing with this, and it's just very visually pleasing to look at. And it definitely fits the theme of a tycoon game. Also, one of the things I enjoy the most is just going on the roller coasters, going to first person and just ride the roller coaster myself. It is surprisingly immersive just to sit there and experience it yourself. The music and the sound design is also very nice. I don't normally play with music or sound on in any of my games, but this one I actually made an exception for because it was so good. It adds to the whole atmosphere and the whole theme of the game, and it's just nice and chill, so you're able to just relax and just get into the mood of just creating and managing your park. So there is a bit of a learning curve in the game. You learn the base mechanics and movement quite easy. It is pretty self-explanatory, but one thing that is kind of annoying in terms of the learning curve is the coaster construction. It is a real hassle. It is not very self-explanatory at all. The game lacks inbuilt info on how to do it, basic info on how to create a good roller coaster. And by that I mean roller coasters actually have stats, so they have stats in excitement, etc. like that, and they'll tell you how good the roller coaster is, but it won't actually tell you how to improve it and where the issues are in your current roller coaster. So they'll tell you the issue but not how to fix it, which is kind of an issue, at least early game, until you figure out what the kind of secret is behind the game in terms of what it wants. Which leads me into the panels. The info panels are within the game. Here you can find all information in terms of how your current theme park is going. So overall stats, how are the guests doing, are they enjoying themselves, are you making money, stuff like that. It's quite nice, but the thing is they actually give you a lot of details, which are really nice. I'm a sucker for a good Excel arc and stats like this, but the issue here is that it doesn't really do a whole lot, and that's because the game is very easy. I remember back in Roller Coaster Tycoon, that was really hard. There's tons of vomit to clean, things broke, people drowned. Unfortunately, Planet Coaster doesn't really have those aspects. There are no disasters, unexpected events, or time limits to complete tasks. This means early game, It takes a little while to get money. Of course, if you're playing a mode where you have that, we're not playing sandbox. But even let's say you're playing the campaign on the challenge mode. Because early game, yes, it is a bit of a challenge, but it's mainly just waiting to make enough money. But you hit a certain point where it just becomes redundant. Like the entire economy of the game just becomes redundant, even on challenge mode. It's a bit of an issue for me that the game is too easy. But the game does have a lot of replayability. You have a campaign mode, you have challenge modes, and you also have sandbox. But there's definitely a lot of value in terms of how much time you can get from playing the game. But even the challenge mode is not really that challenging, just so you know. Performance is also a pretty big issue for this game. I'm running on a high-end PC, and early game you won't notice it at all. But the more things you build, the more complex your theme park gets. And once you add enough scenery, even on a high-end PC, you'll experience FPS issues. And you might even have to play at lower graphics just to reduce input lag. Like for instance, I loaded up this massive theme park from the workshop and it was running at like 10 FPS. So you can definitely get a bit out of hand in terms of how laggy it is. So if you're playing on an older PC, I probably wouldn't recommend getting the game. Because after an hour of playing it, you might have added too many things to the point where you can't play the game. Also, another issue I have is personally the amount of DLC. The base game is good. It's a good game. But in order to get the full experience, you might have to throw a lot of money at the DLC. So it might be one of those games you add to your wishlist and then you buy it when it's on sale. Especially the DLC, I would probably recommend at least waiting on that, as that will rack up to a hefty amount if you buy it all straight away without a sale. Now, with all that being said, I actually don't hate the game at all. I actually really like it. It's a great game. The game has all the features that I personally loved from Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day. And if you're into these kind of games like the Builder Tycoon game like this, you will enjoy it for sure. The visuals, the atmosphere, the charm for the game is definitely there. It definitely feels like you're playing a tycoon game. Are there some issues? Is the game a bit laggy sometimes? Yeah. But it is, in my opinion, a great game. And you can get hundreds of hours of playtime in this game if you enjoy it. The two major concerns I have is that the game is too easy, and it can run into performance issues once you build big enough. But that's it. Other than that, it is a great game. It delivers on its promise. It has the feeling, the charm, the atmosphere of a great tycoon game. So I'd highly recommend buying the game, or at least adding it to your wish list and then getting it when it's on sale. If you found this video useful, please make sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Also check out the video on the screen now for more of my content, as I think you'll really enjoy that video as well. And I'll see you over there. Peace out.